It doesn't matter what year you are. I'm head of the associates. If I give you an assignment, you do it.
Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous good-looking friends. The Harkles have been busy recently, haven't they? Now, I know the last couple of days, everybody has been talking about Meghan being seen for the first time in months in this new Instagram/commercial for a startup/wellness/latte coffee company. I wasn't going to talk about it because I found that it wasn't a big deal. However, the news outlets went crazy, making it sound as if Meghan was starring in this commercial that was somehow recent, and making it sound like she's some business genius that has had a hand in the success of this coffee company. And of course, with everything that this woman does, there is an agenda. So I literally took some time to just listen and observe of what was going on over the last couple days. My initial impression, because this came out of the blue and was so random, was that Meghan was trying to get attention back onto her because her husband had been in the media for like over 2 months. And this particular week, at least in the beginning of the week, was all about Harry. Harry going on Stephen Colbert, Harry then doing some type of live video Zoom call on Saturday, Harry presenting the NAACP Digital Justice Archwell Farcical Award by himself. So naturally, you're thinking Meghan has to steal the spotlight. But after this information allegedly leaked by the Harkles about them being evicted from Frogmore Cottage, and then also this past Monday, Meghan being called a second-rate princess, you start to understand that now this is all about another rebranding. I think being called a second-rate princess to Catherine sent her over the edge. And I do believe is the reason why we saw this rando video that was put out by Clevr Blends to make her look like this savvy businesswoman that should be taken seriously, and she's not as stupid and vacuous as how South Park portrayed her. Instead, the carefully crafted and curated narrative that I see being pushed is that Meghan is all about female empowerment and supporting those who are in business and trying to lift them up, advising and leading, showing them how it's done to be successful in life, when she has zero experience on knowing how to run a business, which is, in itself so comical, because this is a carefully crafted puff piece / marketing slick for brand Meghan. And there's no doubt in my mind, after I show you what I have uncovered here, that most likely she paid this woman to put this together. They probably had B-roll footage and said, here, take this, let's make an Instagram reel and then use it. And then her PR people said, this is how we want to shape the narrative around her. We need to deflect from all the negative stories that are coming out. The sad part about this is that this company is now caught up in these lies that is trying to push that Meghan is responsible for the success of this company. Let's take a look at how they position Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, in this narrative.
3 years ago, everything changed. None other than Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, started drinking our lattes. Not only did she love the product, she was extremely passionate about supporting female founders, our sustainable sourcing, and our food justice give back. Meghan ended up becoming our first investor, advisor, and biggest Clevr advocate. She even sent our turmeric latte to France. And a few days later, I opened my phone to see Oprah herself making our golden super latte in her own kitchen. No big deal. We lost it. Our small but mighty team was 100% not ready for this and ended up selling out for 2 months. We then grew our team, launched amazing new products, and started to dip our toe into retail. We've now served over 6 million lattes, and we owe so much of that to the power of women uplifting women, especially in business where only 2% of venture funding goes to female-founded brands.
Shouldn't they be thanking Oprah for being the one responsible for that boom in sales? It was Oprah's influence that put Clevr Blends on the map when she posted this alleged box that Meghan sent them. I highly doubt that Meghan paid for that starter pack that was sent to Oprah. I'm willing to bet that Clevr Blends said to Megan, hey, let's give you a couple starter packs. Pass them out to your influential friends and see what they think. As Megan is so desperately trying to hold on to being looked at as an influencer, this was right up her alley. So she gave this thing to Oprah, knowing full well that it was going to take off and explode, and at the same time saw a way to get herself in on the deal without having to do any work. Because at this point, this company was on its way to success with or without Megan. Oprah was the one who accelerated the brand, not Megan. Megan only was the middleman in passing a box over to Oprah. I'm willing to bet that Megan watched a couple episodes of Shark Tank and went to the CEO saying, I will give you $10,000 for 25% stake in this company and asking for 1% royalties on every sale that you make because I'm so influential. So now on December 14, 2020, the day that Megan becomes an angel investor, Oprah puts out her post, and all of a sudden, Clevr sales skyrocket, just in time for the holidays. Nah, that was not planned. I will bet Megan made her money back ×2 within 24 hours. If she was legit invested, she would have been actively trying to push this coffee brand everywhere. But I guarantee that she's in a nice agreement where she's collecting royalties as the sales go on. Because as Oprah puts this on their favorite things list for 2021 and 2022, it's selling itself. She doesn't have to do anything. I think Clevr Blends did Megan a favor in this situation by posting this whatever marketing that is supposed to make her look like she is, got the Midas touch on turning businesses into gold, when this is all a manipulation. And I have no idea why they went along with it. This photo that they used in this propaganda shows a date of March 2020. This is before Megan even knew about Clevr Blends or had been engaged with them. This is the actual post from the Instagram account. There you see it at the bottom, March 10th, 2020. So right there, this woman lied. Let's remember that Meghan and Harry were finishing off their final royal engagements around that time and were living in Canada. So when did Meghan influence their ability to step their toe into retail? So the question naturally on everybody's mind is, when did Meghan do this video? I've seen many people comment and say that this is an old video and that it was taken in 2020 when she first decided to invest in the company. At first, I thought the same thing. However, there was a small detail that did give away that this was taken most likely after the Queen's passing. Probably beginning of October, maybe? Now remember, the whole world hated Meghan after the funeral. And that's because the Cut article was so fresh in everybody's mind, as well as her bashing the family in her Archetypes podcast. So she came back and had to do a lot of editing. In addition, let's not forget that weird variety spread that she did to soften her image and sort of retell the narrative and get people to now see her as this brainy, down-to-earth mom. I believe that this is part of the whatever version brand Meghan this was. It was carefully curated in order to show her as this strong entrepreneurial female supporting other females to, use for times like this. Now, I'm sure you're all thinking, well, what proof do you have? Well, let me show you. So at one point in the propaganda Instagram reel, you see the actual product of Clevr Blends. So you can tell that there's 4 bags, but in a different frame or shot, you can see it a little bit clearer. And if you take a look closely, the brown one appears to say mocha. Now, you can't fully read it properly. However, the bag design is very distinct. So here is why this matters. It would have been impossible for the video to have happened any time before October, November, because the product wasn't even out on the market yet. So most likely, this was done after the funeral. They definitely would have had the final product at least a month before they launched because they were promoting it. They had to take pictures for marketing purposes. So my analysis and assessment really boils down to saying that this was sort of recent. It was done in 2022. It's, better than if it was done in 2020. So it does show that she was making an attempt to, whether it be look like she was helping this business, but definitely it was staged for PR purposes. So now when we look at this photo, we don't question it because for the most part, COVID's over. And if she did take this in 2022, it explains why everybody's sitting so close together and having no masks on. So now that we got that cleared up, the next thing I want to talk about, and I'd like to say thank you to Queen Gertie for sending me this information, is this notice of violation that has been flying around social media and people talking about this brand being in violation because it contains amounts of lead and it has violated some sort of health code. Well, folks, this is how misinformation gets spread. Yes, they were issued this, but upon further digging and research, apparently this citation was withdrawn, and it was done on October 15, 2021. So apparently they're not in violation, and to me it looks like this was an error. So for those that are talking about this and saying that their products have lead, please don't do that. These folks, from what I gather, even though Meghan Markle is involved, I don't believe that it was their choice to have her involved. I think Meghan sought them out because this company is headquartered in Santa Barbara. This company was out of convenience for Meghan. Not only was it local to her, but also they were proving successes on their own. And it was Oprah to help accelerate it. Now, the other areas that I see people making a big deal about are in this particular video, they're saying that they are women-led and that they source responsibly and that they give 1% to food justice. So let's tackle these one at a time. On the surface, I don't see anything wrong with it. Yes, I do know that her husband is part of starting this company with the CEO, but technically, yes, it's still being led by a woman. In all the research that I've done, this company has never said that they were women-owned. As you can see, this is an archival shot of the website from December 14th, the day that Meghan announces her being an angel investor and Oprah posts her post up on Instagram. It always said proudly women-led. This was from day one when Meghan came onto the scene. I don't see the issue of having a co-leader that is a male in order to still say that it's being led by a woman, because technically she's still leading. Why can't there be two leaders of the company? As long as the money's coming in, who cares? Where I see the real issue of saying proudly women-led is that prior to Meghan coming on board, their website talked about what mattered to them as far as their goals and their aims for the company. And they talk about what they're doing, but nowhere does it say or tote on the fact that the company is proudly women-led. Also, when we look at the sustainability and the sourcing, it does say we source, blend, and package everything ourselves in sunny Santa Barbara, California. They also talk about implementing a monthly give-back program to support causes that address the intersection of environmentalism and racial justice. Yes, woke. But then on day one, all of a sudden we have this Meghanese going on here. So as we're looking at this, now all of a sudden it's 1% for food justice? Well, what happened to the intersection of environmentalism and racial justice? You would think that Meghan, who is a Black woman, would want to support that, right? Or could it be that Meghan's also dipping her hand in that as well and putting these funds that are going for food justice through Archwell? As you can see, Archwell is involved in feeding the hungry people of the rich city of Santa Barbara. So now going back to this list, 2 out of the 3 have now struck out with me. The last one that we're going to talk about is the responsibly sourced. Remember, before Megan came on board, the website said, "We source, blend, and package everything ourselves in sunny Santa Barbara." But then the Meganese said, "Coastal Cali created. Our Santa Barbara team of passionate plant people." What the heck does that mean? Sounds like Meganese. You see, when you partner with this woman, all your business is going to come out. And this is no different. So the question is, was Meghan Markle responsible for Clevr Brands to go from sourcing everything from Santa Barbara and putting it into their product and going to an area in China where known genocide is happening? What do you think? You know, I so wanted this data to be different because then you could say, well, it was the influence of, you know, someone who didn't have any experience in business and they were led down the wrong path. But sadly, this brand that is toting that they are wanting to save the planet and have sustainable packaging, blah, 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 they had been sourcing from China before Megan came onto the scene. And as you can see here, I ran some reports on the import, export, and suppliers for this brand itself. And on record, it does show that they had been sourcing as early as April of 2020. When they got called out in April of 2021, the last shipment that they had from China was in February of 2021, as you can see here. So as you can see here, they're currently sourcing from Belgium and the Netherlands and possibly sourcing everything else domestically, but we are not entirely sure if that's the case because even though the US had put an import ban on trade, it just so happened that this country has been losing or misplacing data and does not have explanation for it. So it's possibly happening, but there's no record. When you go back to this data now, you ask yourself, well, now where are they getting the oat milk powder? If they're sourcing from Europe, it would logically make sense that you would see Europe showing as sourcing this ingredient, right? You know, I really wanted to give this company, startup, the benefit of the doubt because their Instagram page really gives off this vibe of how eco-friendly they are and self-aware and conscious of their being and the products that they're putting forth really has integrity. But after unraveling all this, as you can see in itself, the amount of lies or contradictions that I've just pointed out, you got to question what's really going on. You know, I seriously was considering getting some of this stuff, like the Sleepy Time Super Latte. That would be really awesome because sometimes I don't sleep, as you guys know. Even the marketing is manipulative. At first, I thought, whoa, $28 at 14 lattes you could get out of it. That would be $2 a latte. That's actually really good. But no, guys, this is obscenely expensive. The serving size for one latte is 6 ounces. Who do you know that drinks a latte or a coffee that's 6 ounces? Well, in America, we don't. If you're drinking good coffee, that's like at least 8 to 12 ounces people are drinking. If you're drinking good coffee, that's like at least 8 to 12 ounces people are drinking. And they're toting this mental wellness and being and lifestyle of calm and anxiety free. This product is not even FDA approved. So what business do they have even making those statements? And then to charge a premium for it because they have fancy Instagram marketing? I don't know. I don't think that really is going to fly. Not with me. I'm telling you. In New York, nothing beats the $1.25 coffee, either a bagel or a Portuguese roll with butter. Delicious. And that's for a small coffee. 50 cents more will get you a large. And you're good for the morning. Granted, it's sugar and empty calories, but at least your belly's filled until lunchtime. Now, I have to admit, inflation has affected this recently, so prices have gone up slightly, but it's still a good deal. As opposed to paying $2 for 6 ounces of stuff that is not even FDA approved, Not saying that New York coffee and bagel has, much nutritional value or benefit, but at least you know what it's made out of. And also you know where it's coming from. Probably some bakery in Brooklyn. There you have it, folks. That's just my take on what I see happening. And, it's unfortunate for this startup that perhaps maybe the success has gotten to them a little bit and seeing how profitable they are becoming because of this type of exposure. And again, in California, especially the uber wealthy elite, they are about as fake as they come. Now, the last thing I want to quickly touch upon is this place that Meghan and Harry went to the day that Frogsit had broke, showing their rictus grin. Walking in is this bungalow that they went to almost 2 hours away from their house in Monashitshow. So in 2019, this was rated as Hollywood's new clubhouse where the uber celebrity, wealthy power people went to play. The Obamas, Leonardo DiCaprio, George Clooney, all were members of this private club. In fact, this club was giving the Soho House a run for its money to where these celebrities were now flocking to this place because privacy is the #1 focus. Fast forward, and now they're allowing people like Meghan Markle into this club. So you already know that things are going downhill. What makes it so obvious that this is a PR stunt is that they drove 2 hours, or they flew and then made it look like they drove 2 hours to a restaurant that serves pigs in a blanket and pizza as part of their menu. Well, Meghan is so classy. Anyhow, it's worth noting, and a fun fact, that once upon a time in West Hollywood, this was a beyond seedy, all-male, drug-infested, clothing-optional motel that this guy, Jeff Klein, who had transformed it into something where the uber elite and private celebrities want to go hang out. Well, used to want to go hang out. I'm not so sure now, being that you've got people like Meghan Markle now showing up after the fact. Once that happens and everybody knows about it mainstream, guess what? It goes downhill quick. And one last point to drill it home that this was a PR stunt was evidence of Jill Smaller being present. Now, for those that may not remember or don't know who Jill Smaller is, she actually is, I believe, the agent of Serena Williams, I believe talent agent, or somehow PR marketing. But she's in the background. And let's not forget that she was also in the mockumentary talking about Meghan. So in some capacity, she is most likely working with Meghan to improve her brand. I wouldn't be surprised, as everything right now is so obvious with Meghan and Harry, and these folks in LA just don't get it. The crown always wins. That's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think. As always, I will be back soon with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.